Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm up at our ski mountain. So I've been skiing all morning.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's spring break here, so
Yes. My son's on spring break this week, and then my husband's on spring break next week. So
oh yeah.
in a way, it's good because that actually allows some break for me. And
Yeah.
then
Are you working right now or
yes, sort of. Not today.
yeah.
Although there is something that I need to do today that I remembered 10 minutes before this call. So it's like, oh well, I guess I'll do that. But yes, I had a really big day yesterday work-wise, so I just let myself kind of zone out a little bit today, which is why I forgot about the other thing that I need to do. The three most important things. I was thinking about that on my drive back home because I was listening to your Shauna Kelly call. And
Oh yeah.
oh no, wait, I didn't do it today. I know what they are, but I forgot. So anyway, that is a useful tool for me when I remember to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the key. Using the tools.
Yeah.
So what's going on? What's the topic of discussion today?
What is it? I know I was trying to think about that last coaching session. What do I do? It is for me, the challenge is the using the tools, just actually doing it. And that's kind of always been my challenge. And I know that I have trouble even making decisions. Like, for example, I haven't clicked on any of the links yet, but I saw that you shared on Facebook some exercise in the morning links or something or exercise at home links with
Yeah.
Andrea. And I was like, oh, I need that. And I was like, but then I have to pick which one to do. I feel like I just need what you've been talking to us about, the just make the decisions easy. I need to do some of that.
Like the automation, you mean? Or
Automation.
yeah.
I need some
Totally.
automation of my habits.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to be in it, committed enough to that automation for it to become automated.
Yeah, totally. I know the automation comes after putting in an effort to actually remember.
Yes.
Enough times.
Yeah.
So reminders, you need reminders until you don't need reminders. So
and that's what I was thinking, is maybe I need to spend some time playing
you need
with
triggers.
a reminder feature on my phone. I just signed up for the Headspace app. Have you heard of that app?
Yeah, I use it for
he's like, I love it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And I like it so far, but it has some nice little reminders about mindfulness.
Yeah.
It's maybe I need that in my day.
Yeah. I mean, so there's 5 triggers to a habit, and triggers.
Sorry, I thought that was going to be tea, and it was my leftover lemon water from this morning. And I was really drinking.
Shock to the system.
Okay. So yes, go ahead.
So there's 5 triggers to a habit.
Tell me.
Specific time, specific place, prior action. For example, that's habit stacking. You drink your water and then you go exercise. You do one thing after the other. There's a sequence of events.
Got it.
An emotion and another person. So basically, the anatomy of a habit is trigger. You need a trigger, and then the habit, and then there's a reward. So it's kind of 3 steps. So you want to know why you're doing a habit, which is the reward. What are you getting out of the habit? You have to want the habit. Or you have to want to do the habit.
Yes.
And then, so are we talking about exercise? Just to take that example, or?
Exercise and regular mind, breath, body, whether that's mindfulness or yoga practice.
Okay. So for me, mine is very much a whole morning routine that's stacked. So I get up, I go to the bathroom, I scrape my tongue, I go to the kitchen, I turn on the water, my kettle, I get my lemon, I drink. It's very much almost robotic. And that's just, and there are certain things I don't do. I do not check my email. I do not, get on any I don't get on my phone, nothing. That's not allowed until after I meditate. And that actually becomes kind of my reward after I meditate. So after my water, I right away, I don't waste any time. I get right to my yoga practice. So I have a yoga studio downstairs in my basement. So I right away take that. I go downstairs, and I like to watch stuff. Like I have Yoga Glow. I have Cody app. I have various things. I do Betty Rocker sometimes. So it might, just like in the way we meal plan, it might be helpful to do a little workout plan at the, you know, one day a week. You decide, I'm going to do this day, this day, this day. And that way you don't make any choices. And that's the idea. You do not want to have to make any decisions in the morning. Because in the morning in yoga, we call it like there's tamasic energy. And from sleeping, it's like that heavy, there's inertia. And like that's the predominant energy, is like to get going takes effort. So if we can make it like as little barriers or obstacles to getting to where we need to be, meaning like if you're running, you put your running shoes by the bed, or if you are doing yoga, you have your mat rolled out. You have everything you need right there. You sleep.
What do you do with your 4-year-old?
Well, I don't have a 4-year-old. I have a 6-year-old. And
what do you do with your 4-year-old?
I had an arrangement with my husband. I said, because he's always been a gym buff, like always since he was 13. And he always did first thing, no matter what he did the night before. Even when we were going to bed at like 5 a.m, he would still get up and go to the gym. He is crazy. But again, it becomes part of your identity. It's just what you do. I'm someone that gets up and exercises every morning, no matter what. So I asked him, well, it started with me just getting frustrated all the time, saying, yeah, I want more time. I don't have enough time for myself or for yoga. And he's like, just start getting up earlier. And because I was not this was years ago. I was like, you had to drag me out of bed. I hated getting up.
Yeah.
But I realized, okay, I want this enough. And so I asked him, can you wake me up? Because he always woke up before me. So he was my other person trigger. It was the other person. It was him. He was the one that got me up.
Yeah.
And then we made an arrangement. First, it was he goes to the gym first, and then I'll do my yoga when he comes back. And we kind of tag team as far as taking care of watching the kids when they were younger. And then it switched. Then I went first, and then he went second. But anyway, the idea was we had an arrangement.
Yeah.
Where?
All right. I was thinking last night too, like I was driving last night, and I wasn't. I was driving yesterday and thinking about things a little bit, and then last night, I was like, this is funny because also the other Shauna said she had a cold sore. I was like, I feel like I might be getting one. And I said that to my husband last night. Like, I don't know if I'm getting one. He's like, we are doing too much. We're going to get sick. And then he's like, no, we are getting sick. Like, we're doing too much. And so then when I was going to bed, I was like, I think we need to have a family meeting about family values and like reorient our lifestyle to what is important to us. And I think that our little guy is old enough to contribute to what he would want in the family.
Totally. In whatever way he can. Totally.
Yeah. So anyway, so just was thinking about all that and sort of the doing less and realigning. And so that's sort of so there's sort of like that self-care, get in the habit decision. And I'll have to figure out something with my kiddo because my husband leaves at 6 a.m. to go to his job. So I'll either have to do some of the exercising in the evening, which I don't want to do the like vigorous stuff, but I'm sure I've been thinking at least like dance party.
What if you did, if you were doing like the vigorous stuff, just have him like right there next to you.
Yeah, exactly.
The 7-minute workout, my kids love doing that with me, and it's short, and there's like a zillion 7-minute workout apps on that you could, there's like 7-minute for abs and 7-minute for glutes and 7-minute for legs. And 7-minute cardio. There's literally one day I just downloaded a whole bunch of them, and that's kind of what we do when we'll do that together when we're on vacation, or we'll just randomly do that sometimes. Like if I choose to do it with them, that's what we do. That's our go-to. Yeah, because they do it too, and it's upbeat. And you have to be, when your kids are younger, you have to make it work with them. Yeah. And then maybe I would throw this out there that you wake up before 6.
Yeah. I got to start going to bed earlier and then
Yes, true. That has to happen first.
Thing. I still don't, I'm working on getting my son out of my bed because we've been co-sleeping his whole life. And so he really does not want to stop co-sleeping. And so we've gotten to the point that there are 2 beds in his room, and he goes to sleep in one of them. And then I get out like when he's asleep and I get in the other bed.
Yeah.
And then last night he woke up and said, "Mommy, I want to be in your bed." But I just like stayed really quiet and he went back to sleep. And then that was at like 2 or sometime between, I don't know, like 3 a.m. or something. And then around 5:30 or 6, he got up and said, "Mommy, I want you to put me in the bed you're in." And I said, "You can come over here." Like he wasn't going to get up.
Yeah.
So he came and got in bed and went back to sleep for a little while. But I still feel like I know I almost immediately get sick if I don't get enough sleep. And
oh my gosh. Yeah.
having the interrupted sleep.
Oh yeah.
Like the only way I'm going to get up early is if I go to bed really early. So,
and then again, I think that comes down to values in a way, because, and not to say, I mean, that's kind of a weird thing to say that sleep is more valuable than like hang. For me, honestly, I knew I had to sleep. So for me, it was really important that we didn't, because I can't, like I can't sleep with kids like climbing all over me. I just can't do it.
Right.
And I know for me, sleep is really important.
Yeah.
So for me, I had to, like, that was never like, we didn't do that.
No,
so
right.
if you're realizing it's
like
not,
it's shifting, like it was, that was one of the most important things for me. And now that he's older and he has a couple nights slept on his own in a bed. So like now I know he can do it and like he'll be okay. And like, So, and it's sort of like it's interesting to think about like values in the context of roles and that kind of thing. Cause I think I've said this kind of thing to you all and maybe the group before too, that my mother passed when I was 18. So I do think some of my like connection with my son stuff is like, I put that really high because I don't have her to connect with. And I want him to have like all the connection he can get with me, which like maybe isn't that healthy either, but like it's.
Well, I would also think about it as by you being well rested and healthy, you're going to probably be able to connect deeper with him.
And if I don't exercise and sleep well, like I might die young too, and then I really don't get
where. But also you won't be at your best, and so your connections with him aren't going to be as deep or as great as they could be. I know at least that's the case for me, and that's the whole idea of self-care, and the whole self-care isn't selfish thing. The oxygen mask principle, it's kind of cliche, but it's real.
Yeah, and I preach it to all my friends.
And so, and I also want to just go back really quickly to the family meeting. I think that's a great idea. And in that family meeting, you can say, okay, this is something I want to start prioritizing. I want to start having exercise and meditation in my day. And I mean, if you're really serious about that, then yes, you do need to get to bed a little bit earlier and then be able to wake up a little bit earlier. And even if it's 15 minutes, even if you have 15 minutes before, 5:45 to 6. And I don't know if there's any leeway in your husband leaving any later or no?
No, he's a public school teacher and like has to get there before the bell rings.
Yeah.
And for him, like his mental space, like he needs to be there well before the bell rings.
Get prepared.
Clear about that. So, but I mean, my kid is still, if I actually sleep through the night, like I need about 8 hours and he needs about 10. So somewhere in there,
it should work.
Like, it should be okay. I just have to get us on a schedule that actually works. And
what time does he wake up usually?
Somewhere between 7:15 and 8.
Oh, so you have,
because he goes to bed later, so that's part of it. But so I would have time, like if I go to bed and like can truly fall asleep when he falls asleep, then it should be okay. But,
I mean, if you get up by 6, then you have plenty of time. So, I mean, if you go to bed by 10, up by 6, that's really ideal as far as circadian rhythms and as far as aligning with nature cycles and getting, they say the sleep before midnight counts as twice as much. And
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, and that's the deepest, most rejuvenative sleep, that first stage. So there's a lot. That's, in Ayurveda, that's why like 10 is the witching hour, because it goes into pitta time at 10 to 2, and that's when energy always goes up, which makes it much harder to go to sleep, and then we want a snack and we get our second wind, and we tend to be up too late and have a harder time falling asleep. So and move back slowly. So from what time are you going to sleep now?
It really depends, but like between 10:30 and 11, sometimes later.
Yeah. And that's another thing as far as circadian rhythms for getting good quality sleep is consistency as far as waking and sleeping times, because your body literally gets on a rhythm, and the circadian rhythms are literal proteins that build over the course of a day. And then and so that your body gets on a clock where it gets tired at the same time and gets up at the same time, and then you don't ever need
that's like my partner
alarms or anything.
Tries to sleep on the weekend and he can't because he's in the rhythm of the sleep of the week.
Totally. I go to bed and wake up at the same time 7 days a week. All the time. And that's like our body doesn't know the difference between a weekend and a weekday.
Right. It's true. Let me turn that off. Okay. That's helpful. Yeah. So, and I think also like the kid, like he's entering a different stage of being, and we will be getting more toward, but next year it'll still be a similar school year to this year, not quite real school yet, but still like to get him in that habit of earlier rising and routine is, I think, will be good. And I think back in my life to like when I did the most things, and when I did the most things was when I had the most routinized life, even though it feels like the freedom you would do more, but I don't do more, and I know that.
There's a paradox between discipline and boundaries and freedom, and it's actually the more boundaries and more discipline we have and the more routines we have, it completely correlates with feeling more free and we feel better, for one thing. And if you have like routines, basically free up energy. It's the whole automation and not having to make those choices every day of like, okay, what time to wake up and what am I going to do in the morning, and what's my morning routine going to look like, and do I meditate, and when we just have like me, it's just kind of, I do this. I don't waste any energy or any thought or any willpower in that time. And then that frees up. It's, one of my students calls it, you get like an energy inheritance. It's like all of a sudden all this energy, it's like, what are you going to do with it? And you have an abundance. And then knowing exactly, okay, what's the most important things to work on, then you can put all that energy into that. And then you're also not, and besides the fact that all these routines put you in a peak state so that you're feeling your best. On all levels. You're firing all cylinders.
That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I'm like, the morning routine is so huge. So, I mean, that's well worth just focusing on that and really getting that
in place. And then I do feel like everything else falls in around that. Like I don't feel a lot of struggle in the rest of my life. Just like
and it just takes time. I mean, it just takes some time. And it takes like dedicated effort until it's just what you do and it's part of who you are and it becomes your identity.
I remember a while ago when I tried running, and then I would like, for the first week I hated it, and then by, I don't know, a couple weeks later, a month later, I don't remember what it was, like I would wake up and I could feel my body like wanting to do it. Asking for it, and I was like, what is going on?
It's true. And then you might need some external accountability too, like whether it's your husband or someone else that you as your accountability partner, or maybe, I mean, it's you can use the little habit tracking thing. It's personal accountability that works for you. I mean, accountability plays a huge part in habit formation
Yeah. Yeah.
and sticking with.
And that's like my other challenge is going to be, so I said yes to this project that's going to be probably as much as 30 hours a week when really I want to be working 20 hours a week, but it was like, it's an interesting project. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
And it was sort of the only thing on the near like available out there. It still feels very aligned with what I want to be doing. So it feels
Good.
okay to do it, but it
Yeah.
just, now I'm like, oh shoot, like the next between now and the end of August is tied up like 30 hours a week of work. Like the building toward the other things that I want to be doing is going to be a lot harder. So
Yeah.
I know that time blocking is going to be important, but I think also like I have to do some expectation adjustment on myself because I'm not going to get to the same place.
Yeah.
Just because I won't have that kind of time for the projects that aren't the money making project in front of
Yeah,
me.
but you know what? Honestly, sometimes having tighter time constraints is actually very useful.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I put that, who was I talking to about that? I don't know if it
I've
was,
felt that before in my life. Yeah. Like,
yeah,
oh shit, I have to do this in the next 20 minutes because
yeah.
yeah.
So challenging yourself almost as like a little gamification for, and it really just puts you to the fire as far as like focusing and getting it done and making it happen and building the discipline that's needed to actually do the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And getting very clear. I mean, for me, it's like I built my business when my kids were just in, well, my youngest was in daycare or preschool. And that was, I literally had 6 hours a week to like completely create courses. And yeah, and I did it.
Wow.
Yeah. And because I got home after dropping them off and I was like, I know exactly what I have to do. And I just banged it out. I did not check email. I didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Like I just did that one thing. And it's actually amazing how much you can get accomplished when you are focused and you know exactly what you're supposed to be working on.
It's true.
It is. And sometimes
I haven't read the willpower book, but just the concept of it, of like, you have to set your environment up for your success and you can't just think your way through getting it done.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, it's forcing functions. It's like creating an environment that forces you to do what needs to get done.
Yeah.
So actually, in a way that maybe if you just to see,
yeah,
maybe don't even adjust, but just see, okay, what if with actually less time I could still get that done?
Yeah. That's all right. Good challenge. Thank you.
But you have to just get really clear on exactly what it is that you need to do.
Yes. I'm trying to think if I have anything else that is, I don't know, maybe I'll just share this little story with you and then you can tell me if it brings to light anything in your head. So I just yesterday led a strategic planning retreat for the Maryland Farmers Market Association, which is a statewide small nonprofit that's trying to support farmers markets across the state of Maryland, which is cool. Like
Nice.
it's like exactly the kind of work I'm going to be
Awesome.
doing. That's the one that appeared in my inbox the day after my birthday, journaling
Cool.
and getting clear on things. So
yeah.
Thank you for that help getting to
Yeah.
there. But so one of the issues I have is that like I'm newly doing things. So there's that self-talk of like, you don't know what you're doing. And then an interesting thing that happened around that is I have one mentor who's done a lot of facilitation in the food system space. And so I'm like, oh, like I don't know him that well, but we're starting to connect and I really like him. And then I have my dad who's been doing organization development work for decades. And then this other guy, Michael, who was one of my teachers in this work. And I talked to the three of them at different times over the 5 days before I had to do this project. And they all had like such different ways of approaching it and doing it. And I was like trying to figure out which one was the best and like how to, like, what does this mean? And like, oh, and I'm going to change the design again because this person said this, whereas this person had said this, and like all these things. And one of the things that was Michael is kind of my original mentor in this. And really like I talked to him last and I was like, I should have talked to him first because he's just like very simple about things. And he's like very good at calling me on when I've like made something up rather than like checked out if it's actually true. Like he was encouraging me to have the board chair lead the retreat because they were trying to get the board to be more engaged in leading the organization. So he was like, let her lead it. And I was like, but it's tomorrow. And he was like, why do you think she can't do it? Like, why are you discounting her abilities, and just like challenging me in that way, and then I talked to her about it, and she's like, all right, I'll try. And she did a great job.
Nice.
That was cool.
Awesome.
To the side of like a good reminder of like, don't assume anything, always ask questions and see. Anyway, so then at one point, my dad just like came into the room and he like put his hand on my shoulder and he's like, like, if anything, the lesson in all of this is that like there is no right way to do this work. And, like, you have what you need to be able to do it really well, and you're going to do a great job.
Oh.
And which was very sweet. And it was fine. It went well. They were really happy with it. And I still am dancing this like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I like, why should I be allowed to be able to do this stuff that I love to do, but I haven't done that much of? So why should somebody pay me
Just
yet?
don't listen to that voice.
Struggle more. So yeah, I keep telling myself like, I need to be a man about this. Like, I just feel like men so much more often than women are like, I got it. I know what I'm doing, even though I don't, and I'm just going to pretend that I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
what is that called? That was that word I couldn't remember it.
Like, fake it till you make it.
No, but there's like the whole this is the same word that I couldn't on the meeting last time. I totally blanked on. Yeah, when you basically, it's like the who am I thing. Who am I to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who am I? I don't have what it takes, or I'm not qualified, or I don't have
sabotaging.
Yeah, it's just, don't listen to that. And you learn by doing it. That's the only way. Nobody starts out knowing all this stuff. They just do it and figure it out as they do it, and learn, make mistakes, and refine. And I mean, my strategy is to like listen to everyone and see what makes sense, and then based on all of that, create my own until I really find my own way. So really, and what else are you going to do? That's
right. I know. It's true. There's another proposal opportunity just came across my desk. I was like, ooh, I'm not ready to do something like that yet. And then I was like, why am I saying that?
Just do it.
At least apply. Like, they don't have to choose me, but just try. So but then that gets me to like, well, I have enough work right now. Like, do I really want to stack something? Like, the time it would take to apply and then plan this thing, like, as much as I really want to be doing that, I think another thing I might need to do is like just go back to the values, which I know you started us with, but like, it's my value to be like doing as much as I possibly can of all of this as fast as I possibly can, or is it to like be in a place where I can be playing with my son in any time that I'm not working, and like just focus on my family, or like cleaning the house, which I still haven't KonMari, like so there's a little bit of like the dance of, is that me? That me upper limiting myself by pulling myself toward those other priorities, or is that my real priority of slowing down and doing it?
Well, I'm wondering, like, what is your desire really pulling you to what's like, oh, I really want to, and without the whole logical mind, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, oh, I really want to be doing that work, but I think that this is what my husband was reacting to last night. There does feel like there needs to be a recalibration of how we spend our time as a family and as a couple and as in our work, and just like, I'm feeling, even though we're heading toward spring, I'm feeling toward like a need to pull in a little bit in order to refocus before extending as much.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there's also always, even within a month cycle, we have that pulsation out and in, and that time for reflection, and then time for action, and so we'll trust your desire, and just trust what you're really drawn to doing. And sometimes it means that like the pieces are not are as balanced as you would in that ideal, because I don't know, I think especially when you're establishing something, it's always going to be a little bit heavier on the workload. And then you have the freedom once you've kind of established yourself to then be a little bit more. Yeah,
it's true. All right, well, I'll see if I can block the time into my schedule to apply. If I can't, then that'll tell me something too.
Yeah, Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Donna. Enjoy skiing.
All right. Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. All right. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.